Hi you guys, I just finished a 2-page layout, Celebrate Vivian, Bride-to-Be, and I have some scraps sitting on my desk. It's a super cute, girly page. So I have quite a few interesting scraps. So I had cut 2 different versions of the word celebrate to see which one I liked best, and I decided this was not it for that title, but this is part of a Let's Celebrate die that is new and I hadn't used before. So I think I'm going to use it for this card because it's now a scrap sitting on my desk. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out of this paper, this scrap, and then I was trying to figure out, I have this kind of funky scrap. It does have some pencil lines on it, so if I'm going to use it as is, I just need to erase those pencil lines because I used Kiwi Lane templates. So it's kind of a funky shape, but I'm okay with that. It looks pretty neat going across a card front. I still need to make a card base. I'll make a white card base. I think this is my plan. I'm going to do Let's Celebrate and a shadow. I'm going to do the shadow in this. I'm going to also do a matte in this for my card, and then I didn't use this because I couldn't figure out how to fit it in. I just fussy cut some, but I'm going to use this as the background paper. So it's going to be something like this, right? With a nice, decent sized 1/8 inch, not an 1/8 inch, might be, make it a little bigger, 1/8 inch border. This, then this across the middle, sort of the fat part here. I'm going to ink everything to help hide some of these little issues I have. Oh, that got some water on it. Ink everything using Vintage Photo. And then put the Let's Celebrate, so we know this is the size of it, kind of in here on the stripe, and it'll be in another, it'll have this paper and this paper. It'll be a little busy, but I'm okay with it. I think it'll be cute. So let's see where we can get to. Let me go off and do some cutting for some homework, and I'll be back. So I went off and did that cutting, and here I'm just gluing things together. The glue I use on my cards is Barely Art glue. No, it's not. It's Art Glitter glue. They're pretty similar. I do like the Art Glitter glue, but you have to be pretty quick. You don't get a lot of maneuvering time with it. It dries, when you're doing paper, it dries really, really quickly. You get a little more time if it's not paper on paper, but it's really fast. So I use a precision tip, and it seems to work. It doesn't take much glue at all. And now I think I'm going to, yay, I remembered to ink. Now I get a little issue. If you remember, I got a little drop of water on this paper, and as I go around there, I get a big smudge of ink. And I'm like, oh boy, that looks terrible. And it's because that paper was soft and it just ate up that ink. So I trim a couple sides and just make the mat a little bit larger so I don't have to toss that piece of paper. And it looks good actually, so no complaints.
Now, the only issue I have is all I'm seeing when I do this is the yellow little houses. And that's a little annoying that my little shape is covering up all the yellow houses, and I just couldn't find a way to show any of the other houses. So I think I maneuver it a little bit so you can see a few others peeking out. Yeah, so I just put it toward the top so you could see a couple of those other houses. So that was a little disappointing. It's just, you know, the combination of the sizes of things. So I just found the repeat on the paper. I do pop up the sentiment. And that's just to give a little dimension and shadow behind it. It is inked, but not perfectly inked. It's not easy to ink inside some of these die cuts. And then I decide, all right, since you are only seeing yellow birdhouses, you can see a couple of birds, so I don't worry too much about the birds. But I decide to cut out a blue or a bluey green birdhouse to add to it, just to help that stand out. Pop that out. And I think that that focal image helps the card quite a bit. And then I'm going to go off and look for some sequins of some description. I look in here, will those work? Maybe. The pinks are wrong. And is this where I have this may be where I have a complete disaster, I'm not sure. So I found some little teal hearts, which I love. And then I'm just picking out the colors that I like from this little sequin mix to add to it. There's my disaster. And this is on a silicone mat, which is not easy to get things up off of. So I just very patiently collect all those sequins. I don't know why I didn't use that little tray to begin with and pour a few out into the tray. That would make it easy for me to find what I wanted. One day I'll learn. This is scrapbooking in the real world, you guys. I say it's out of this world scrapbooking. It's not. It's definitely real world scrapbooking, and I keep my mistakes in there so you can learn from my mistakes. These little trays were available. I think I found them on Amazon. They're little triangle trays. They're great for beading, but they're really good for laying out your sequin mixes instead of trying to go into the bin or the bag or whatever you're using to store your sequins in, and to avoid disasters like that. So here I'm just looking for, I think, some yellow and the right tone of pink in this little sequin mix, just to add a little sparkle. And I think this card is about done, and we'll take a look at it close up. Cute little Let's Celebrate card. Please give this video a thumbs up and comment below if you would add more or less to this card.